Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Fear the Walking Dead Season 3 video for today. In this one first, we're going to give our thoughts on Madison as kind of our official lead character for Fear. And spoiler warning as usual if you guys are not caught up for Fear the Walking Dead, which is up to episode 3, but mainly as long as you've seen up to episode 2 for season 3, then you're fine, because that includes the big death and everything that was pretty crazy this year. So I want to do this one. I had this question sent in from actually before, and just getting around to it now, I think it makes a lot of sense. This one came in from Aimee, who says, Hey Trev, just saw your last video for Fear the Walking Dead. I really don't believe that Madison would be a good fit for main character. It's not just that I find her to be the most annoying dickhead on the show. These are her words, not mine. I understand people thinking a female lead would be a big switch up from Rick on The Walking Dead, but I don't think she is likable enough for viewers to get behind her 100%. Travis might have a better shot at it, but I think Nick would be absolutely perfect. Not only is he nothing like Rick, but there's no other character like him on either show, either series. He's an ex-junkie, so he isn't your typical hero, and his feelings on the Walker situation aren't as black and white as we normally get from our characters. His story could be interesting. Thanks for all the hard work, and yeah, so that was her question. So she had sent this in before the death of Travis, obviously, because, her, like, thinking, basically she's saying that she thinks that Travis would actually be a better lead than Madison, and Nick might be kind of the most interesting lead for the whole show, which I might agree with you, because now that they've killed Travis off, which I gotta say, even in episode 3, I kind of miss, not seeing Travis in the episode when I'm used to, having him there, and I felt like even having him there at the farm that they're at now, the Brokejaw Ranch, would have actually made it even more interesting than it was, just to see him interact with everybody and him to be there, because personally I find him to be one of the more charismatic characters in the show. If you go back to the first season and you have the part with the military and stuff, he's the one who speaks to them on behalf of the people there that are being protected by the military. He was a really great character, and It is what it is. So, with regards to Madison being the lead for this one, I'm with you on this one, Aimee. I still don't know how I feel about it right now. Episode 3, I thought we got to see a little bit of that. I do like Madison as a character. I think she's kind of badass. I really like Kim Dickens. Her performance in Gone Girl was incredible, and that's when I originally noticed her, or the first time I saw her and was like, wow, she's pretty badass, right, in Gone Girl. And then, of course, when we heard that she was cast for Fear, I was like, great, because she was really super badass in Gone Girl, and we might see something similar with this Madison character in Fear. So far, I don't know. So far I don't know with Madison. She seems to be more cold with everybody than she should be, even though, her husband, Travis just died, and everything that she's been going through and all that. But still, she seems to be cold to just about everyone. She's kind of whiny at times, even though, you can understand that. But, and I mean, anybody loses their spouse, they're going to be like that. But just the way she behaves to others, it's, I'm not sure. I think she could be a really good lead if they go like some kind of similar alpha direction where she kind of becomes a super badass female lead of a group of villains. Then it could be really cool, and that's kind of what we're looking at with her now. Still wondering whether or not her husband before the zombie apocalypse was actually died, suicide accident. The story's kind of changed a bit on that from her, and she has said a few times that Travis was a good man, better than she is, better person than she is, that kind of thing. So, and then talking about like it's their fate and everything like that they're going to have to pretty much go villain route, go evil, become a group of bad guys in order to survive. It's our fate to survive. So I'm intrigued by it because I want to see how this develops and how this goes for her, and how this feels. It's not your typical route, I think, if you look at compared to The Walking Dead or most series, to have that with this type of genre. So as a result, I'm kind of intrigued by it. If it's a group of villains, I'm cool with it. But I just don't see that compassion from her. I think she can be a good villain. I don't see her as a good hero lead. You know, I don't see her as someone who's like Travis would be, and you know, even though he's killed and he has to do what he has to do in order to survive. Still, though, I felt like he had that compassionate side of him to others, and he seemed that way. Madison does not seem like that at all. She seems very quick to kill. She seems to be very stern, very aggressive, I want to say, and not very kind to those, even those that help her. So, as such, I mean, you know, I am interested by having a lead like that in this series for Fear. It can either be, I view it as polarizing. I think it's either going to be kind of genius to see a group of villains led by someone like Madison, or it could be awful and it could get the series canceled, which, you know, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. So you guys rate your comments below. I can't make up my mind on this one 100% yet. I do think that right now, if Travis was the one that was alive and she was killed off, I might be enjoying it more. But then at the same time, maybe it'd feel too much like Walking Dead because Rick loses Lori in season 3. And then, you know, how that thing goes. So to see the inverse is kind of cool to see. Well, it wouldn't be cool to see Lori survive Rick, but we're seeing something like that with Madison out surviving Travis. So it's interesting. But like you said, there's some other characters here that could be really cool. Nick might be most comparable to someone like Daryl, who can hold his own episodes in The Walking Dead and do a good job at it. So it'd be cool to see Nick as well, too, maybe as a lead eventually. But right now he's pretty young, and you know, he just doesn't strike me as somebody that would be like a great leader for a group. I mean, he can do it. We've seen him do it already with the Colonia, but for a little while. But I just feel like, you know, I don't know. I think you need somebody a little bit more mature, a little bit more experienced, and Nick is pretty young. But he's cool to watch, and he's one of my favorite characters as well, too. We don't have that many characters left anyway, but he's one of them that are up there. So write your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about Madison as a series lead. I'm still undecided on it this time. But, of course, we'll you know, reconnect on that one probably at the end of the season and see whether or not it was a huge mistake to go with her as lead instead of Travis and kill Travis off, or a genius move because we're seeing, like, you know, a great group of villains here, you know, form or something. Because I would say that she's more evil than Travis, you know, and she seems to be, maybe she'd make a better villain than Travis based on what we've seen from her so far. Chad M. Bernal says, Trev Q&A, what are your thoughts about Madison treating Troy like a son? For some reason, I feel like they will play a big role together, especially when Madison put a napkin on Troy's lap when they were eating after she volunteered to go. I almost feel like Troy will be a long-term character, especially if this is a group of villains. I think you might be right for that one, Chad. I do think that Troy might survive this half, and maybe his brother won't. We'll see, because Jake seems like the good one. Maybe we could see a relationship between him and Alicia or something like that. We'll have to see how that goes, but yeah, it would be interesting to see. I do like to see Madison and Troy and how they kind of play off each other. I do think that was a strange scene when she goes and kind of sits by him. Maybe it's a, you know, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer type of thing. That's the way I took it. You know, that she sits down like right next to him and she's like, you know, she's, I think in that state, she's right there, you know. So it's like, you know, he's not going to screw around when, you know, his guidance counselor's like right beside him, right? So I kind of like that scene. It's kind of like, you know, to me it said like, I got my eye on you type of thing, you know, and it was uncomfortable, but in a way where it was like, you know, this is pretty clever what she's doing here, right? You know, it's kind of like one of those, if someone's up to no good, a lot of times you don't have to, you know, ream them out or something for it. A lot of times you can just give them attention and they'll stop. You know what I mean? They'll stop doing whatever nonsense they're doing. Say their dad came in or something and then their whole behavior changes totally, right? So like a misbehaving kid. So I think that's kind of cool. And also she, you know, she helped Nick out throughout most of his life with not killing himself and everything, and it has been able to succeed in at least him not overdosing and dying because he's still alive. Maybe, you know, that's kind of that motherly side of her that she used to help Nick, maybe trying to help Troy out. So that's kind of the way I read it. But it is intriguing to me as well too, and that's one thing with this type of setup is that you're going to get some different situations that are quite a bit different from maybe like more classical Walking Dead if you went with Travis and had Madison killed off or something. Torrid says, "Hey Trev, would you do a video on who you think will be the one to kill Troy? My vote is Madison. He may not come back from this trip." So Torrid thinks Troy's going to be killed off already. You might be right, Torrid. I mean, with Fear of the Walking Dead, it's just about impossible to predict. We got to see that in episode 2. But personally, I would say I don't think we're going to see Troy killed off soon. I think Troy might survive this half, or at least until the mid-season finale. Granted, they might want to get revenge. So it looks like Nick's not going to be the one to kill him. Madison, well, or maybe his brother. I'd like to see if someone has to do it and he kind of loses his mind. Maybe Jake having to put him down would be cool. That could make Jake kind of more badass as well too. And it could kind of be like because he always kind of took care of his brother, and if he has to put him down, then it's kind of like he took care of him until the end, until he had to. Tracy T says, "Hey Trav, Q&A. Near the end of the episode of Fear, when Madison sat next to Troy and put the napkin on his leg, do you think, having seen the video of Troy's mother, that she is trying to take on a maternal role with him in order to maybe take over the ranch? Either that or maybe something a little more. Cheers, and thanks for all the great videos. Keep it up, bud." So thanks, Tracy. So yeah, I mean, I think that she is kind of taking on like a motherly role in that situation and maybe trying to keep him out of trouble just by being there. A lot of times I think if you look at people that are around that age or teenagers especially, if they don't have, the parents there or at least one parent there, their behavior can be really, really crazy. So it can be really just having someone there a lot of times can help. And that's kind of what she does. Like that's her job as a guidance counselor. So, to kind of be there for Troy like that, she could definitely help him out, I would think, for sure. But you might be right as well, too, that she might be starting to look to take the place over. She also hasn't shown... She's kind of spotlighted herself and spoke up maybe at times when it seemed a little strange to say something. And she also has kind of volunteered to help out, right, and showed she's not afraid. So she definitely has shown herself so far as a very strong somebody who's very strong woman, somebody who's not afraid, and could be a good person to good candidate for that. Even though she's so new, still, she's making all the right moves so far, I would say, if she wants to kind of take the place over. Radical Zed says, "Hey Trev, I have a question for your Q&A. What was your reaction to Troy making himself a little too comfortable in Madison's cabin?" I thought it was creepy. Again, it could be him kind of reaching out for that kind of motherly thing that he doesn't have, right? That motherly influence that he just doesn't have at all. Or maybe he was, hoping Alicia would come in. I don't know. Troy's kind of crazy, so it could be either one. But I think more Madison, to be honest with you, because the whole spoon in the eye thing, I think he kind of looks at it as like her scolding him or something. So it's a kind of an interesting start to this, motherly son type of relationship thing. But what they got going on here. We'll do like one or two more. Blaine Spell says, "I wasn't a big fan of this show. I watched it to hold me over for the original, but this season has been a really, really good start." And I agree with you, Blaine, and a lot of you. I do think the first 2 episodes especially were great. The 3rd episode was pretty good, too. Getting to see the return of Daniel, it definitely is keeping me interested. And, I really enjoy Fear. I really appreciate it because in years past, this time of the year, I wasn't really making almost any Walking Dead videos because with no Fear on and with no, there's not too much to discuss. But at least Fear gives us something. And I also am intrigued by this direction they're going because it's so off the wall from what I thought they were going to do that it's kind of keeping me guessing, keep me on my toes. And I know it is for a lot of you guys too. And I think that's kind of exciting to see what they're doing with it. At least it's not kind of normal or commonplace or just the run-of-the-mill type of thing. It's been quite a bit different from what a lot of us thought it would be. Last one will be from Dylan Scott, who says, "How long is the mid-season break for this show? I didn't know if it was the same as The Walking Dead." From past seasons, Dylan, it seems to be about the same, which is about a month usually. Maybe 2, something like that. So we would get we've had 3 episodes, so we'd go into July at some point. Whenever episode 8 rolls around, you can check the Sundays. And then probably a month or a month and a half off, and then it would come back and then we'd get to see the other 8. But you'd have to check the Sundays. If you looked at each Sunday, probably August, I think last year, August it returned. So this year, it might go right into the start of The Walking Dead. So something like that for the back 8. So they can't take too long off. You'd have to look at the times. But Walking Dead, the original series, returns in October. So I'm looking at probably like a month off or something in the middle, which shouldn't be too bad because they've been bringing it so far. Pretty good. If you guys like this video today, please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Madison as a lead and how you're feeling about Fear right now in this kind of crazy direction they're going in. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share and favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. I'll see you soon.